Real quick. So just a little bit on that stream again. If you go to the next slide, I kind of touched on it already, but you can see when we opened in 2021, after the water kept kind of percolating through the soil because that was the plan, that was design. Contractor said, let's put down rubber matting. We did that. You can see the stones that it became a bit of a slip hazard, right? And especially when you're right at the edge of a waterfall. It's very unsightly. And so we eventually see the image of the contractors paving it. We put in an aggregate finish, exposed aggregate finish. And then the water stays on the surface. I had one of our vice presidents say, well, they're going to see concrete. And I said, John, within 2 weeks, it'll be full of silt, leaf matter, wood matter, weeds, and we were out there. I said, you point to me what's concrete, what's stone. And he couldn't. And so I guess the lesson is you want to incorporate natural elements. You want to emphasize nature, but do you sacrifice the user experience if you adhere just to that, right? And in this case, we decided having more water on the surface was better for the user experience. And yes, it was concrete. We contacted the Nature Playscape in Cincinnati, which was built about 8 years ago, and they did the same thing. They have recirculating pumps, and they were burning the pumps out because there was no water getting down because all the water was percolating in the soil. And so they came back and they put concrete in between the pavers as well. And we think at the end result is it's just a better user experience from a sustainable use standpoint, a sustainable design standpoint, and a nature standpoint. The bonus was we used less water because we got more water on the surface. We actually were able to turn the valves down on those 4 bubblers. In fact, we turned them down. The lower 3 we turned down 60%, and so we're using less water, and that's a good thing as a whole. So, just a few more slides. I know we're running perhaps late here. Just be flexible again. Whether it's you find a stump that has some character to it, like the upper left-hand corner, or the Paul Bunyan tree, and then see how folks use it, how kids use it, especially how they're going to use that space. And adapt your space to kind of perhaps how they're using it, as long as it's safe. Then just lastly, to sum it up, there's lots of natural materials out there. You still have to consider code liability maintenance. You just do, especially in a public space, in a public park, in which case you're inviting the public to your facility, to Tracy Aviary, to your nature center. You still have to consider that. But that's good. But at the same time, kids are going to know how to use that space, especially if it offers a variety of natural materials and flexible spaces. And then just see what nature offers you. We everything from we've had ground hornets to foxes burrow in our sand pits. We get rid of the hornets, we let the foxes hang out. So. And then we do quite a bit with, we've actually updated our pollinator gardens as well, gardens of site, and because it's become very, very popular by the Century Gardens, and we really enhanced that planting mix for that area. But it's been very popular. We've received a lot of kind of kudos, a few awards for the space, but the end result is there, especially I love the Play St. Louis and St. Louis Mom web pages, and you just read the comments from those folks who use the space. And it's very gratifying to hear their comments and then how their children use and enjoy the space. So with that's it. I know we went a little bit over there, Ann. Sorry about that. But if you had time for questions and answers, we could do that.
Russ, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, Russ, and I appreciate you putting your contact info on that last slide. And yeah, appreciate it. We're going to move on to the next section here.
Okay. Thank you.
So, all right. Thanks everybody for coming. There is a post-symposium email that is like a, what's it called? Gods. That's not.
Yeah, it'll be
Where's
asking
Laura?
for feedback on what you got out of this symposium, what you would have liked to get out, but maybe didn't. And then also we'll ask you some questions about like if you're interested in continuing to engage with us on this and maybe form a little community of practice where we can learn from each other, maybe tour each other's sites. We'll have some information about that in that survey as well. So be sure to fill that out.
Yeah, awesome. That was way better said than I was going to. Speaking of things being said better than I would say them, out at sort of as we end this part, there is an optional, I know I've heard some thunder and some hailstones a little bit ago, but there is optional, if you want to go get, you know, some time at some nature play sites here at Tracy Aviary. Some of our staff are going to be out at 3 of our sites. They're going to be out there giving kind of a quick 15-minute interpretation of the space. And you can move in between each of those spaces over the next hour and get that information. We are open until 5 o'clock as well. So you're welcome to like hang out and all that stuff. But the staff, Anne, Aaron, and Laura, I think, are going to be out at, I think there's some maps in back possibly, but the 3 spaces that staff are going to be at is the teaching stream.
Yes, so if you exit the mill here and just turn to your right, the teaching stream is just right here. We'll also be at our fallen log play area. So if you exit and kind of go back, you'll see us, the big logs. And then if you make it to the logs, we can direct you to the last space from there. That is going to be our Utah Discovery Garden, which is kind of on the opposite corner of the aviary from where we are now.
Cool. Anyways, that's it. Thanks so much, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm really
thanks so
glad we got here.
Yeah.